Hi there, it's Cassie. Welcome back to my YouTube channel and blog. Today I have part one of a two-part series I'm calling Let's Make 8, and this one is featuring the July 2018 Simon Says Stamp card kit called Cool Summer. As of filming this kit, it's still available, but Simon Says Stamp also has all of the items for individual sale if you're interested. So let's take a look at what's inside. So for starters, we of course always have a sucker. And next we have the One Cool Pineapple 6x8 clear set. This has some cute images and some really great sentiments. And then we have one 6x6 sheet of Simon Says Stamp pink glitter paper, the 12 double-sided 6x6 sheets of Carta Bella's summer splash paper. Really cool retro looking papers in there, a lot of fun. We also have the Simon Says Stamp Summer Gold sequins. We have the Simon Says Stamp Flamingo wafer die, which coordinates beautifully with the set. We also have a 4x6 sheet of Sizzix white foam adhesive, which is awesome. Let me just tell you, it's really great. And then we have the Amy Tangerine Sunshine and Good Times sticker book. That's by American Crafts. It's got a lot of great stickers in there. I can see using some of these for my planner, especially those with the days of the week. And then you can just kind of close it up as a sticker book. We also have the Simon Says Stamp Doll Pink envelope. I love their envelopes. And we have the Amy Tangerine Sunshine and Good Times Mini Icon Puffy stickers, which I'll probably use for my planner as well. We have a 3-pack of the Simon Says Stamp White 120-pound scored cardstock and the idea sheet that I just set off to the side. And then we have the Simon Says Stamp cardstocks in green leaf, dull pink, bright yellow, and island blue. So let's go ahead and get started with card number 1. I want to stamp that fish from that adorable set onto some Canson XL watercolor paper, and I'm going to use some VersaFine Onyx Black ink because I plan to do some watercoloring, obviously, if it's watercolor paper. So I grabbed my Mini Misty, and there's a reason for this. You'll see later. So I'm going to use the ink, stamp it up, make sure it's good and crisp, but I think I'm only going to do it one time. And when I'm happy with the impression, I'm going to flip the paper and I'm going to do it again. I wasn't sure how many fish I wanted, so I thought, well, I'll just go ahead and stamp 2, get them stamped, and there you go. And I'm going to use my Finetec pearlescent colors, and I'm starting with the copper or the orange copper, and I'm not doing anything special here. I'm just kind of slapping the color down, and you'll see why. So I also want to splatter some cardstock, and this is just some Neenah cardstock, and because I'm not using a lot of water, it's not a big deal. And so I've just put that on a block, and I'm splattering that orange copper and also some sapphire blue from the Finetec. And if you see here, you can see the color, the black outline is kind of dull. And that is because those watercolors are pretty opaque. And because of that, I'm going to go ahead and I left my stamp in the Misty, and I'm just going to re-stamp the Onyx Black ink over the top. And then you're going to see how that looks. So you can see the color works out perfectly on top of there. And while I've got my Misty out, I'm going to stamp my sentiment. And I'm going to use that VersaFine Onyx Black ink again, because that's a good dark crisp ink. Do it a couple times, make sure it's good and crisp. And then I'll start assembling my card. And I had trimmed down some patterned paper into some strips, and I'm going to layer those on top. And I also fussy cut my fish. So I'm going to adhere the patterned paper strips with a tape runner, and then I'm going to adhere the heart and the fish with some foam tape. And then I'm going to use the tape runner to adhere the other fish on the inside. And I'm not done with embellishments. I'm going to grab those sequins that came in the kit, and I'm going to put those on the outside. I'm just going to put them like they're coming out as bubbles. So I'll use my Crystal Katana and some Ranger Multimedia Matte, because that'll hold those sequins down very nicely. And just a few, and I love the different variations of the color. It's like an orange, a yellow, and a white sequin in there. They're really pretty. And once I'm done with that, that'll finish off card number 1. For card number 2, I'm going to use the Amy Tangerine stickers. And if you've watched any of the videos of the other people using this kit, you know, the ones from Simon Says Stamp, you've probably seen some people putting those stickers on white cardstock. Well, I want them to stick out, so I'm going to do the same in this case. And I don't know exactly how many butterflies I want, so I'm going to use them all from this page. And while I do that, I'm going to talk about what I'm actually going to do with these cards. I'm actually donating them. So a close friend of mine's mother suffered with Alzheimer's before she passed away. And every year, her and her sister and a team that they gather every year does the Alzheimer's walk from where they're at. And this year they're doing a casino night and a bunco night to raise some money. So they need prizes, and so I'm going to donate a couple bundles of cards. And if you're interested, I'm going to go ahead and put a link down below just so you can see what I'm talking about. So back to the card. Once I have all of these butterflies adhered, I'm going to fussy cut all of them. Yes, all of them. And that's not something I really mind, so I just put on a little music and get to fussy cutting. And I think it took me probably about 15 minutes to cut them all out. So it's a process, but I didn't mind. Stickers aren't exactly my favorite thing in a kit, but they're really pretty and they can make for some very quick embellishments. So back to this card, I actually lost a little bit of the footage, and so you're going to see some pieces already there. I had taken a piece of the pattern paper and I used an embossing folder from Tim Holtz and a ticket corner punch on the corners there. So that's why you can see that it's all basically ready to go. So all I'm doing is I'm sticking the butterflies down kind of where I think I want them. And then I'm going to adhere those with some Simon Says Stamp Craft Tacky Glue. And just going to stick some, and they're going to be overlapping a little bit. And as you can see, I also have that wonderful sticker in the background there. That came from the Amy Tangerine stickers as well. I had adhered those to the cardstock, and then I put the wonderful sticker right over the top. So I'm going to continue, and all I'm doing is actually putting it right in the middle of the butterflies so that their wings can still kind of prop up. And I adhered the panel down to my card base with the tacky glue as well. And I'm using foam tape for my banner because I want that to stick up a little bit. And once that is on there, that's going to complete this card. Easy peasy, lemon squeezy. For card number 3, I'm going to use the My Favorite Things Stitched Triple Peekaboo die, and I'm just going to tape that in place with a piece of micropore tape, and I'm doing that on Neenah Solar White cardstock, and then I'm going to run that through my Big Shot machine because that won't fit through my Sizzix Sidekick. And now I'm just going to stamp 3 pineapples using the Lawn Fawn Jet Black ink onto some Neenah Solar White cardstock because they're both Copic friendly, because I obviously plan to do some Copic coloring. And it's actually going to be very simple coloring, but I'm going to leave it in here just so you can see it. I'm using colors that are fairly similar, or at least close, on the spectrum. So I'm starting with the Y26 to color all the bases of the pineapple. And to do my shadowing and to get those little circles, I'm doing YR27. And I have sped this up 4 times because clearly I don't color that quickly. Boy, I'd have a lot of time in my day if I did. So I'm just going back and forth, basically doing the same thing. I'm not changing these pineapples up. I want them to look fairly similar. Going back and forth with the Y26 over the YR27 just to blend it out a little bit. Not over the circles, but just over the bottoms of those little squares. And for the leaves on the pineapple, I'm going to be using G24 and G29. They're definitely close on the spectrum, but further apart. So the blending out takes a little bit, but I love the look of the 2 of them together. And I'll use it again in another color combo later on, because you know I love me some color Copic coloring. And then I'm going to fussy cut those off screen because you don't want to watch me do that. And I'll grab my Mini Misty and I'll stick my panel inside of there, and I'm going to stamp my sentiment with the Lawn Fawn Jet Black ink that says, "You're one cool pineapple." And I do that a couple of times just to make sure it's good and dark. And I'm going to grab the sunglasses, and I'm going to stamp those with Versamark, and I'm using a Wow embossing powder that's called Coral Reef. And then I will heat set those. They have a little bit of silver and some pink in them. I thought they were really pretty after they were all stamped, and I fussy cut those as well. I've covered the back of my panel with some foam tape, and I'm going to stick that to the pre-made card base that came in the kit. And then I'm going to use some liquid glue to adhere my pineapples. And those are, it's neat because they're going to be stuck at the bottom, and then their tops will adhere to the outer layer. So they'll definitely look like they have some fun dimension. And then I'll glue their glasses in place in the middle pineapple. And once that's on, that's going to finish card number 3. For our final card for part 1, which is card number 4, I am going to stamp these watermelons 6 times onto some Neenah cardstock using Lawn Fawn Jet Black ink. I didn't know how many I needed or wanted, so I just went ahead and stamped out 6 of them. And you guessed it, Copic coloring. So I am going to start with some R22, and I'm just going to color those first couple watermelons so that you have an idea of what I did here. Really easy, simple coloring, and then I'm coming in with the R29, and I'm just flicking that up from the bottom because typically it's darkest down there. And I'm going to blend that out back with my R22, and I'll do the same thing on the second one. Actually, I'll do it on all 6 of them, the same exact thing. Very easy. And when the colors start to dry back, or they really don't dry back, but when they start to dry, you can really see how pretty that looks. And then I'll come in with my G24 like I did with my pineapples, and I'm going to color the rind. And then the G29 on the very bottom. Same thing with the other one. And then I'll come in with a white Copic. And then I'm going to color those seeds with the white Copic. Excuse me, that's a white gel pen. Sorry, my cat wanted out of my room, so it kind of got me off guard there. So anyway, now back to stamping. I'm going to stamp the sentiment onto some Neenah white cardstock using the Lawn Fawn Jet Black ink, and that's the one that says "You're One in a Melon," and then I just kind of fussy cut around that. And the cat's back. He can't decide. Off screen, I had cut my circle die, or cut some circles out using some circle dies. I cut 3 of those out, and then also out of pattern paper, and then I also cut out a rectangle using the My Favorite Things Stitched Rectangle Stacks dies. And I did that on Neenah Solar White cardstock. And I'm using the Tombow Mono Multi to adhere the circles to the rectangle and the 2 watermelons all to my card base there. And I'm going to use some foam tape on the sentiment and one of the watermelons. I just wanted those to stand out just a little bit. I could have hoarded that pattern paper. I thought those polka dots on that red was so pretty. Probably my favorite paper of the whole one, so it was hard to use, but I had to do it. And once I have that down, I decide that I want to have a little bit of embellishment here. So I've pulled out some festive, is what it's called, festive stickles, because it's green and actually has a little hint of red in it. So obviously it's for Christmas, but I thought this is absolutely perfect for a watermelon too. And I'm just kind of going back over those, making those circular. They didn't come out totally circular. And this is where planning ahead helps, peeps, so I didn't. And so now with those last 3 watermelon, I'm kind of having to hold up the card top just so I can glue those down because those stickles are clearly not dry. And once I'm done adhering the watermelon on the inside, that will finish off the final card. Okay, so let's go ahead and take a look at the 4 cards that I made today. Remember, this is part 1 of a 2-part series using the July 2018 Simon Says Stamp Card Kit. So if you liked these cards, be sure to hit the like and subscribe button so that you don't miss part 2. And as always, thank you so much for stopping by.